Hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna do a little bit more work today on the 1JZ swap Conquest. Started cleaning up the head a little there, not the head, just mounting surface for the head on the block. Clean up one of the pistons. We're gonna try to clean them all up, get all the carbon deposits off. Just kind of keep it nice and clean. Give it a fresh start to go with. I'm just using a vacuum cleaner and just slightly rubbing with some acetone. Or not acetone, alcohol, sorry. Just a light rub, nothing crazy. Trying to get it a little cleaner than what it looks now. But so we took the head back off. We had it on there just for mocking a couple weeks ago. So I took the head back off, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to remove, I already took this one out, taking the stock springs out and the stock retainers, and then I keep the keepers in this little bowl. But I have this specialty tool from Valve Master. It's made for the 1J and 2J. One side lets you remove the spring and retainer, and there's a magnet in here that catches the keeper, and then you flip it. See if I can do it with one hand. It's got some suction on it. Hold on, let me put the camera down. I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back. So what I was trying to show you is this tool. One side is magnetized to catch the keeper inside the head, and then you pop it off when you go to put them back in. And what you do is you set it like that. You set the valve springs and the retainer on. You kind of put the keepers in there, and then you push that down, and the keepers will catch. But for now, let's go ahead and take all these out. Take all the old springs out, and we'll start putting it back together. Oh, if you watch, I'm gonna push that one down. So here's my retainer. Keepers are magnetized in there. Oops. Keepers get caught in the magnet inside of here. So there's another spring out. Same thing here, push down. Keeper, retainer, and the keepers get magnetized inside the tool. So we'll go ahead and take all these out. Alright, so we got all the springs you see in there and retainers out. I got this valve seal out of this side here, so we'll pull the rest of these out. And we got some new ones here marked exhaust, and these ones are marked intake, exhaust. And these are new from Drift Motions. Just changing them just to make sure everything's nice and fresh inside the head. So we'll pull these out one by one. These are, who knows how old, but we'll get them out, and they just pull out. They sit on top of this little, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's I guess it's the valve guides. They sit on top of it, and they kind of snap right in. You can hear them kind of clip in when you push them back in. Alright, so I'm going to pull all these out, and then we'll start putting in the new ones. We got new BC springs. and retainers, titanium retainers. Mark decided to go with the higher dollar stuff, Mr. Big Ballin'. So we'll this head will have some titanium retainers. I don't have the titanium retainers on my car. I just have the plain ones, the steel ones. But these are titanium retainers and BC single springs. We're only running the BC stage 2s, so we didn't really, no really need for the dual springs. I don't even have dual springs on my head, and I'm running the GSC stage 2 cams. So yep, these are the titanium retainers, all new springs. So we'll get those installed once we swap out all these valve seals. Alright, so we got all the seals out. Some of them went flying. You know, they catch sometimes and just go wherever they want to go, but they're all out. Everything looks good inside the head here. Valves all look good. None of them look bent. None of them look burnt up. Everything seems to be looking good. I'm going to blow the head out a little bit, just make sure we don't have any debris under it, where we're going to put the new seals. But we'll get all these gathered and just pile them up over here, get the head cleaned off, blown off, and then we'll go ahead and start installing the new valve seals and work on putting on the new springs. Alright guys, so I blew the head off. We're going to start installing these seals just one at a time, pop them in, and we'll get them all put in. I'll show you when they're all installed. They just go on same way they come out. They just go in into around the valve, and you just kind of push them all the way down into the valve seat, and they'll make a little pop noise once they're in. But yeah, we'll push them all in, and then yeah, I'll show you what it looks like when they're all assembled. Alright, so hopefully you can see I got all the valve seals in, and they're pushed in, and you'll feel them when they bottom out against the valve guides on the bottom there. You'll feel them stop, and you just want to push them all the way down. That way the seal makes the seal around the shaft of the valve. You got to be careful when you push them down. There's that little spring. Let's get an old one here. There's that little spring right there. You don't want that to pop off as you're pushing them down, because then that kind of defeats the purpose of your valve seal. But those little springs will pop off if you're not careful when you're pushing them down, and then you'll have oil leak, oil fumes coming out your exhaust. You'll be scratching your head trying to figure out why you have oil coming out of your smoke oil coming out of your exhaust. But that'll be the reason why, because one of these springs probably fell off. So just be careful when you're pushing them down. I've always used this. I know it's not the right tool, but it works perfectly to pull them out and push them in. I just kind of grab them on the bottom of the valve seal and pull them out, and it works perfect. And then when I go to push them back down, I just lightly put pressure on the outside of the spring there. So I'm not touching the spring, just put pressure on that part until they get pushed all the way down. And again, I know this is not the right tool. I probably should end up buying the right tool, but this tool has always worked for me. I did my head with this tool, no issues. So yeah, we got all the valve seals in. So now we can start putting these springs in, and there's no special directions for these. There's no top or bottom. They just all go in. And yeah, just put them in, and I'll show you what one of these valve titanium retainers does. We'll put it in with this tool so I can show you how this tool actually works. So we were done using this side. This is the side to take it off. Now we'll pop it around, and this side will actually help you put the valve seals and the keeper back in. So let's grab one of these, Actually, I'm gonna grab something else, so let me, I'll be right back. Alright, so here's the tool. What I like to do is I put a rag underneath each valve so that the valve springs can get pushed down without the valves moving. So we'll grab a retainer. What you do is you put it on here, you grab two of your keepers. These ones, make sure you face them in the right direction. So you gotta, it's got like a little angle on them, but you gotta put the smaller side down, and I just kind of place them right in here in the hole of the spring retainer so that they're in there. I don't know if you can see, but then once we push down like that, so this button here will keep the keepers in place, and then we'll push down to compress the spring, and once the keepers get past the little groove in the valve, it'll hold it. So here's one. There you have it. As you can see, the retainer is in, the keepers are in, they're not going anywhere. That valve now is set in place with the spring and the retainer on. The keepers are in place, they're not going to go anywhere. So we'll do that 24 times, and this tool is a lifesaver because that keeps the keeper from flying all over the place and lines it up perfectly in the spot for the keeper to sit in the valve. So we'll knock out all these and we'll be right back. Alright, so these things are kind of in my way to get these springs put in correctly. I started doing that one over there, and these are just in the way. So we'll take them off for now. I'm out of breath. It's hot, a little bit hot today, not too bad in South Carolina, but we'll get these off. Make it a lot easier to push the springs down. So I'll pop these off and then we'll get back to putting the springs in. I do want to show you what I ended up doing over here. It makes life a little easier. Get this one off and I'll show you. So you can see the best way to do this. So I actually just figured out there's an easier way than trying to put the keepers in after you have the retainers in. Just put the keepers right in the retainer and set them up here. And then grab the pusher, and we just push down. There you have it. Another one set. We'll do this one. And another one, nice and set in there. Again, these aren't going to go anywhere with those keepers locked into that valve. So that works out pretty good. I'll keep working on these. Got these springs in already. These are the next set of springs I'll do. And what I'll do is I'll just keep moving the rag to the next valve. Keep pressure on the valves so they don't get pushed down as you're trying to push the spring in and the retainer. These are all the old stuff. We'll let Mark decide what he wants to do with those. I'm not sure if they're worth anything, factory springs and retainers, but we'll box them all up for Mark. But there's valve number one, valve set number one, cylinder number one is complete. So we'll knock on down to cylinder 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So just got to do this 6 more times. It's not too bad, a little time consuming, but not terrible. So we'll go ahead and keep knocking these out. Alright guys, so my battery died, so I'll let you guys actually enjoy me putting the last one in. Not in fast forward motion, just normal motion. So we just take the retainer, put the keepers in there. Boop. It's not very hard to do, you just got to take your time. And like I said, I put a rag underneath each cylinder to keep the valves pushed up while I'm doing these. It helps, you know, lock it in place and makes things a lot easier. So I just noticed, we'll show you here in a second, just noticed something. Not sure if it's done on purpose or if somebody's going to be missing one somewhere. But I'm guessing it was probably a mistake, or when you buy 24 kit from BC, when you buy a kit to do your 24 valves on your 1J or 2J, you get one free. So I got an extra one here. We'll just keep it here in case something ever happens. So here we go, we got all these in. I'll pick up the head and move my rag onto the last valve bank here and just kind of get some pressure on all the valves from the underside. And then again, we'll take the Valve Master Toyo tool, and the part number is V as in Victor, M as in Mary, A as in Apple, 68. I got this from Valve Master directly, and like I said, I used it on my head, and obviously I'm using it on this head, and it is a lifesaver. So sometimes little keepers pop out and they're a little bit of a pain in the butt. Just gotta take your time and try to line it up as best as you can. Sometimes they're more of a pain in the butt than other times. Be a lot easier if I had a bench to work off of, but right now we're just on the floor. Reposition the rag a little bit. Get some better pressure on that valve, and we'll push it down again. Yeah, that one keeps popping out. It did the same thing to me on one of the other valves. Ah, crap. So, got a little keeper fill in there. So I'll just push it over and grab it with the magnetic screwdriver. And we'll just try it one more time. Like I said, it's not hard, just time consuming, and just gotta take your time with it. Once they start going in, and they'll go in pretty easy. There we go, that one's in. See, that one went in first try. Come around to the other side and pop that one in. Yeah, this one wants to be a pain in the butt too. So we'll just put that keeper back in there. Ah, fat fingers. Little diesel truck going by there. Alright, let's try that again. Make sure I got the rag under there real nice and good underneath the valves. Keep them from going down as you're trying to push down on the keeper. Oh, that felt good. There we go. You can tell when it catches. Oh, that one fell out. So, see how this one's in and didn't go in all the way, and that one's kind of stuck in there? So I will set that one down. I will flip the tool around in order to catch that keeper from flying. I'll just push down, catch the keeper, and we'll try again. Put the keepers back in the retainer, put it back on the spring, flip the tool back around, give it another try. That sounded good. So that one's nice and good in there. I'm going to give it a little push. It's all the way seated in yet. that one's not going in all the way. There we go. Nice and seated. They're all in. Let me take this camera off and I'll get you a closer look, but all the valve springs and retainers are in. So I'll give you a close shot here real quick. Alright guys, so we got them all in. Give you a quick little shot. There's all the BC retainers and springs are all installed. And yeah, all the keepers are in place. And like I said, what I do, and I'll show you here real quick. Flip the head over. I get one of these rags and I just bundle it up and it pushes up against the valves with the head upside down. You know, flipped on this side here. The rag just kind of sits in the pocket and keeps pressure on the valves as you're trying to push down on the springs with that tool. And again, this tool is a lifesaver. There's a part number again if you need it, but it works on 1J and 2J heads. And again, we got this free retainer. So yeah, there you have it. That was us semi-building the head, just kind of putting the springs, sorry, out of breath, just putting the springs and retainers on. Like I said, those are the titanium springs that Mark decided to go with. But we'll get the head, continue to get the head ready, and we'll still need to pull this timing belt cover off. I'll have to do that before we get the head on. But we'll get the head ready to get on, finish cleaning the block surface off, put on the new OEM head gasket from Toyota. We have some, let's go over here to the parts table. We have the ARP head studs, so we'll install those when we get ready to put the head on. Check out this cool calendar. I'll have to show you guys this one in a different video. That actually came with my other car that I bought, the white one. That was in the trunk, and it's actually pretty cool, especially since the car that I bought is actually in that calendar. So I'll show you that another time. But yeah, there's a parts table, head studs. Yeah, so we'll continue working on this, continue filming, and stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button and follow along as we continue building this 1JZGTE Conquest here in my two-car garage here at Frenchy Builds. Alright, thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye.